Hi there. We're taking a look at our source analysis position for our theme of uh, foreign policy. So I'll give you a few seconds to read over the template and refresh our memories in what we need to do. So you need, and you know this, we've done this a few times now, you need to establish a position on what should the role of nationalism be in society. So what is your position and what evidence can you use to defend your position? So you might say that nationalism should have a minimal role in society, and you'd have to defend that position. You might say that nationalism should have a moderate or a really high role in society, and you'd have to establish that position by using evidence to defend it. You want to use what you've learned in social studies to defend your position. So with that in mind, let's quickly take a look at the three sources. So you probably forgot this one was last week, source one, showing you German expansionist policies um, between and during World War II. Again, this policy was called Lebensraum. Source two was the piece of propaganda advocating Japanese expansionism in Southeast Asia. We talked about the Greater East Asia Co-Prosperity Sphere. And finally, source three, the newest one, was the firebombing of Tokyo at the hands of the Americans in March of 1945. So, if you decide to say, based on the evidence that I see, based on what I see in these three sources, I think nationalism should play a minimal role in society. That could be your position. You think that nationalism should have a minimal role in society. And evidence what you would use would be saying, hey, like, look, when nationalism is pursued to a great degree, like Japan pursued it or like Germany pursued it, what you get is war. In the German expansionist policies, caused World War II in Europe. Um, Talk about when they invaded Poland, that the British and France declared war on Germany. Talk about how every time Germany expanded into someone else's territory and country, those people lost their rights and freedoms and their sovereignty too. And in the end, Germany lost World War II anyway and was divided up until 1989 into an East Germany and a West Germany. So by using that evidence, you will have established that expansionist policies, nationalism doesn't work. It doesn't bring you longevity, and it doesn't work for people around you either. You could talk about what happened to Japan and its expansionist policies as well. Japanese expansionism gave them some short-term gain in that they did expand to Southeast Asia, but again, they couldn't hold it and keep it either. They would eventually lose World War II at great cost to human life. You could talk about the firebombing, and you could fit in source number three. You could talk about the atomic bombing of Japan later on in 1945. So if your position is that nationalism should not have a big role in society, that would be the kind of evidence that you would use to defend your position. And then if you decide that nationalism should have a great role in society, well, then you would talk about that using evidence to support that position too. Um, so, briefly on your own, take a position and defend it with historical evidence. And you don't have to spend more than 10 minutes on that, but get an idea of how you would go about doing this if this were an actual real assignment number two, where you had to write this up into a short essay. Good job.